بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
It is Tuesday, the 6th of September 2022. And in our series, Reflections on the Holy Quran, this is broadcast number 356. And we are looking at the words of chapter 2, verse 104. We are looking at the words of chapter 2, verse 104. And this is the fourth broadcast in looking at words of this verse of the Holy Quran. We dealt with the same word in the broadcast, which is 1st of September. But we try and make these broadcasts sort of self-standing, so that you don't have to keep flicking back. And most of the time we add some new points as well as they come to mind. So these broadcasts are brought to you by LASER, Lahore Ahmadiyya School of Education in Religion, which is a branch of Ahmadiyya Manishat Islam. The Ahmadiyya movement was founded by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Rahmatullah Alayh, and he taught us that although other people say that a prophet will come after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, but the Holy Quran says that the Holy Prophet is Khatamun Nabiyyin, and the Holy Prophet explained this by saying, La Nabi Abadi, there is no prophet after him. So no prophet can now come. And he explained that when the Holy Prophet said this, his companions became very worried. And they said, "O Prophet of Allah, when other nations, when other people went astray, God sent prophets to bring them back to the right path. What will happen to this ummah?" And the Holy Prophet said that God will raise reformers, mujaddideen, and they will do the same task. And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said that it is in line with this hadith that he is one of those mujaddids. There were many mujaddids before him, and but his distinction from other mujaddids is this, that the Holy Prophet spoke of the Messiah and Mahdi to come, and Hazrat Sahib explained that these are not separate individuals. They are actually titles for a mujaddid, and the title reflects the task that mujaddid has to do. And he said that he is the mujaddid. He is the mujaddid to whom these titles apply. And people started calling him kafir for saying this. And Harsa pointed out that people are too hasty in saying others are kafirs and so on. The hadith is that if one reciter of the kalima says to another reciter of the kalima, you are not a Muslim, then this edict, this verdict returns to the person saying it. He becomes the kafir. And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad taught that although other people say that hadith comes first in our sources, this cannot be correct because hadith was written by men. The Holy Quran was dictated by Allah. So the Holy Quran comes first. Then comes Sunnah, which is things that the Holy Prophet did and people saw him doing. And then comes hadith, but with hadith you have to be careful and you have to check. And you have to check that the hadith does not contradict the Holy Quran or rules of nature and so on. This is very important to remember, that the Holy Quran comes first. And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad also said that jihad is a fundamental duty of every Muslim, but as defined by the Holy Prophet Muhammad, who, when returning from fighting, said Muslims were returning from the minor jihad to the major jihad. And the major jihad is a jihad with your own soul, a jihad with your own inner self. So, with that, let us turn to the verse of the Holy Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقولوا راعنا وقولوا انظرنا واسمعوا وللكافرين عذاب أليم. For you who believe, say not ra'ina, and say unzurna, and listen. And for the disbelievers, there is a painful chastisement. And as I said, we're going to look at the word waqulu today. So let us look at this word. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong place. Here we are. Now it has three segments. Wa, which is a connector, and then comes the verb, kulu, say, and then the pronoun, who is to say. So from that we can see that the root is qaf wa lam, which occurs in the Holy Quran 1722 times in 6 different formats. Most often it occurs as qala, 618 times, and then 92 times it occurs as qawl, as the noun call, statement. So that makes 1710, so leaving 12. So the other 4 in total appear in the Holy Quran 12 times. And basically, it means to say, to speak. It is said, he said, she said, they said, I said, and so on. By adding the appropriate pronoun, it means that. And al-qawlu and al-qila, they mean statement, something you say. And this is supported by the Holy Quran, chapter 4, verse 122. In Allahi qila. And what God says, God's statement. Now, what does it apply to? It applies to anything. It could be one letter, one word, one sentence, a whole speech, lasting half an hour or whatever. And the whole thing will be called qawl. Interestingly, if you've thought of something but not actually expressed it, it's still called qawl. وَيَقُولُونَ فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ in chapter 58, verse 8. And they say in their heart. So if you're saying it in your heart, then you're not expressing it. So from that, we conclude that any opinion, any beliefs that you have, it also applies to that. And God uses the same terminology for himself when he speaks to someone. And then we say, if it's to a prophet, it's wahi, if it's to a non-prophet, it's ilham, and so on. But in chapter 18, verse 86, God says, Qulna ya zal qarnain. And we said to Qarnain, the point is, this is God speaking to another creature, another entity, which is sometimes objected to. But God doesn't just speak to living things. In chapter 21, verse 69, it says, Kulna ya naru. We commanded, we said to the fire, Kulna, we said to the fire, cool down. So how did God speak to the fire? And we'll come to this in a minute. Because God's speech and God's command are represented by the laws he's made. It is God's command that the law of gravity is what it is, and if you let a pen go, it comes down to earth and doesn't fly off to the heavens. God said to earth. Now this it means that God set up a law. But I want to go to some statements that the author of this dictionary, Mufradat, has made. And I want to make it clear that this is not an Ahmadi dictionary or an Ahmadi compilation. Ahmadis have nothing to do with it, etc. In explaining chapter 19, verse 34, which is Zalika Isa ibn Maryam qawl al-haqq allazi fihi yamtarun. The gentleman says, he, Jesus alayhi salam, is the son of Mary alayhi salam. It's a fact, something true which people doubt. Now, you see, I have actually read out what this gentleman's written. Ye Maryam alayhi salam ke bete Isa alayhi salam. The reason I've done that is that when MDs say about Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, we say Mirza Ghulam Ahmad alayhi salam or Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam, people immediately start jumping up and down and saying that proves you believe him to be a prophet. Alayhi salam can only be uttered after the name of a prophet. But here in one sentence, this non-Ahmadi author of this Arabic dictionary is saying he is Maryam alayhi salam's son, Isa alayhi salam. He's using alayhi salam for a non-prophet, Hazrat Maryam, Mary, and a prophet, Jesus. Or do Muslims believe that Mary was a prophetess? No one believes that. That proves that even non-Ahmadis use alayhi salam with the names of holy personage. The other example I used to use was Jibrail alayhi salam. This is a common expression, Jibrail alayhi salam. Right, say, well, alayhi salam is used with the name Jibrail, and people would say, well, he's an angel, he's not a human being. Give us an example of a human being. While Hazrat Maryam was a human being. And this non-Ahmadi compiler of the... Let me point out that this gentleman is a scholar. He's a big enough scholar to be able to write a dictionary of the Arabic of the Holy Quran. And he supports the meanings that he gives from quoting verses of the Holy Quran from other places, from all places. So, this is not some man in the street saying that, oh, when you can just say, oh, what does he know? So let us carry on with the next page. And on the next page, this gentleman quotes chapter 4, verse 171. وَكَلِمَتُهُ أَلْقَاهَا إِلَى مَرْيَمَ. And it was a kalima which he meaning Allah, sent to Maryam alayhi salam. और ये कलमा बशारत था जो उसने मरियम अलैहिस्सलाम की तरफ भेजा था. The point is that if it happened once, you could say, oh, there was some sort of mistake and it was written in error and it was a proofreading mistake. Here over the page, the same thing is written. Maryam alayhi salam. So why all hue and cry when we say Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam? It's sad that, where people want to, for political and other reasons, they make up stories which are false and then attribute them to Ahmadis. The scholar then goes on and he says, Innahu laqawlu rasulin karimin wa ma huwa biqawli sha'irin qalilan ma tuminu. Chapter 69, verses 14-41. The Quran is the message of that holy angel. And these are not the words of a poet, but few of you believe. Now here you see, the Holy Quran is called Rasul Qawli Rasul. Innahu laqawlu Rasulin Kareemin. The Quran is called something that Hazrat Jibreel said. And so, this is the Holy Quran saying that. So, is the Holy Quran the word of God or word of Hazrat Jibreel? But then this gentleman explains that to say that the Quran consists of words of Rasul, Hazrat Jibreel is called Rasul there, consists of words of Hazrat Jibreel, is a metaphor. Then this gentleman goes on to say, for when a message is sent through a prophet, then it can be said that these are the messenger's words. So you can attribute it to the messenger or the original sender of the message. And as a metaphor, you can say words of the messenger. And sometimes you can say words of the sender. So what he's saying is, in reality, this is the message, these are the words of Allah. But metaphorically, you can say that these are words of Hazrat Jibreel. And I pointed this out because when we say that, well, use of the word Nabi, etc., for Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is a metaphor, all hell breaks loose. And people start saying, oh, look, they have no answer and they're making up things. But what about this? That the Quran is called words of Jibreel. Does anyone believe that it's not the word of Allah? No, they don't. And they take this as a metaphor without batting an eyelid. But if we say the same thing about Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's writings and so on, suddenly all hell breaks loose. You're making excuses, you're this, you're that. And well, with that, we come to the end of our broadcast for today. I request you to continue to pray for the people of Pakistan who are in dire difficulties and facing all manner of calamities and hunger and disease and so on. And as I always do, I will pray for the whole of humanity, regardless of their caste, creed, religion, sect, or color. May God protect the whole of humanity and keep it safe and free from harm. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, goodbye.